Hello, 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 everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Straight Talk with Dr. Sharmee Pratt. I am your host, Dr. Sharmee Pratt, and today I have in the studio with me Mechelle Dunlap. Oh my God, is all I can say. We are in for a treat. Today, our topic is how to create an atmosphere of faith. Again, how to create an atmosphere of faith. And so we're going to take a moment before we get started with that topic. And I am going to allow Mechelle to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Dunlap. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I am a longtime acquaintance of Dr. Pratt. I am a graduate of her mind management school. So I am thrilled to be able to have this discussion with her today. I'm excited about the topic. I am just excited about the doors that God is opening and how He's going to download into us today.
Well, thank you for that, Michelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, again, we're going to jump into this. And our topic, again, is how do you create an atmosphere of faith? Now, for you out here and you're listening to this and you like faith, what is faith? We're going to get into all that, trust me. Michelle, so take a moment and let's discuss the topic how to create an atmosphere of faith. But before we get started, many people may not even know what faith is. So, how would you, as an individual, define faith?
Faith. And the great thing about that is that before we even decided upon the topic, I had a friend to send me something as a word of encouragement. And she sent me this little piece that said, faith is not believing that God can, it is knowing that He will. And it takes my mind back to Apostle Paul when he was shipwrecked and he was there putting the wood on the fire and the snake bit him and he just shook the snake off into the fire. He didn't show any concern or any fear or any intimidation, just somewhat nonchalant. And it wasn't that he didn't care, but it was because he had faith. He had faith in what God had told him before. And because he had that faith, he knew that nothing was going to stop him from getting to what God said he had to do. And so that's how we have to see faith. And we know the word says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But are we really understanding the scripture when it refers to that?
That's good right there. That is really good. The fact I like how you brought out the concept of Paul shaking the serpent, the snake, off into the fire, and then he continued on with his message like nothing ever happened. Now, listen, if you're not someone who understands scripture or even uh, know God, you may know something different. You know, hey, we don't judge here. We're just going to give a dynamic of our belief right now, and we are faith walkers, right? We are faith believers, and we
Amen.
center ourselves around faith. And so I love how Michelle just said that some people don't even understand the concept of what faith really is. And we're going to take a moment and we're going to talk about that because until you get an understanding of what faith is, how can you create an atmosphere of faith? Because faith is that thing that causes you to be able to move. Faith is, I like to call it an action. It's something that
Yeah.
you put into action without even understanding how it's going to get done at the moment, but you see that it's possible that it will be done because you understand that because you are believing that all things are possible. You say, my faith is action for that possibility, if that makes sense out there. And so, Michelle, I want to take a moment and create the atmosphere because you said something so key. Many people don't even understand what faith is, you know. And so, what do you mean by that?
Well, Some people think that it's something that you have to actually see, but what is it about faith that you can see? Or is something that you have to believe for, which means then you're putting it in line with your imagination, which means you could be confusing two definitions, faith and imagination. But if you really think about faith, when you say, "Oh, I have faith that can move a mountain." Well, to move a mountain, that means that you are unmovable and that you have strength that beyond the mountain strength in order to move that mountain. So if you say you have faith, then that means you are unmovable. The thing that you have in your eyesight, I have faith to believe that I'm going to be healed. So no matter what the doctors are telling you, I'm going to be healed. It doesn't matter what your diagnosis says, I'm going to be healed. Then you are unmovable, and you know that because you're unmovable, because you know that this is what's going to happen to me. I have convinced my spirit, my soul, my mind, and my body that this is what's going to happen. And it's going to happen. You can't change my mind. I am steadfast and unmovable.
Wow, I love your definition there. And as you were talking, one of the things that popped in my mind was the fact that you have faith in someone. And the thing is that makes you unmovable is your faith in God. The faith that you have in the God that you serve, knowing that He's done it, He will continue to do it, and He will keep
Hmm.
doing it, right? And so when you talked
Exactly.
about the strength, having the strength to believe, or, if that mountain's right there, then you know that the one that you're trusting in, or the one that you're putting your confidence in, he's able to move that mountain that you may see in front of you, whatever that mountain is. Knowing that, yeah, well, I may have this condition going on in my body, but the one that I'm trusting in, the one that I put my faith in, he is a healer. And so he will heal my body. And so it's not that you just, think that, oh, well, it's in me. Your faith is actually in someone. Your faith is in the fact that your God is a great big God, and he's able to do anything but fail, because he has proved it time and time and time again. And so you create the atmosphere with him being at the forefront. And so when you think about that whole concept of faith, then you're thinking on it in such a way that my faith is in the one that I believe in. And because my belief system, if you will, the way that I think, the way that someone said, I was, did a podcast, and someone had said, faith and belief is two different things. Belief is your mindset. Faith is what you actually put your weight on, what you put your trust in. And I thought that was really key, because you just said it, if you say, this mountain needs to be moved, then you know that there's a strength stronger than you that's able to move the mountain. So you don't move because you know that mountain is going to be moved. Well, your faith is in the fact that the God you serve is able to move that mountain.
Exactly. And, we know that scripture says, have faith in God. So if we have faith in God, and then we also know that the word says that he created all things, that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, that if God be for us, who can be against us? That God says he will never leave us nor forsake us, then putting our faith in God, that's all that we really and truly need, because He is that foundation. We know that everything that's built, it has to start from a foundation. So if our foundation is God and the fact that He is,
Mhm.
then our faith can only build upward from that.
Oh, wow. That's so good. That's so good. Listen, everyone, this is good talk right here. See, we're doing straight talk with Dr. Sharmee Pratt, and this is some good talk right here. But we are going to have to do a part two and a part three and four and all of that. We will be back. We just wanted to take a moment and drop a nugget on how to begin to create your atmosphere of faith. And so we will be back. We're going to come back, and I'm going to bring Mechelle Dunlap back so we can continue on with this conversation. But until then, thank you for tuning in with Straight Talk with Dr. Sharmee Pratt.